You've probably heard it a million times. Education is a public good. It's something everyone should have, paid for by the government. It just sounds right. But here's the thing about economics. Words have very specific meanings. So is that common belief actually true? Well, we're going to put that to the test right now.
So let's tackle this head-on. Most of us think of state-funded education as a classic public good. It seems obvious, right? But what if I told you that when economists get really technical about it, that idea is, well, it's just plain wrong?
See, to really get to the bottom of this, we can't just go with what feels right. Economics is a science, and it has strict definitions. So what we're going to do is run a simple two-part litmus test to see if education actually makes the cut.
Okay, so here are the rules of the game. For anything to be a pure public good, it has to pass two super strict tests. Not one, but both. It has to be non-excludable and non-rival. Let's quickly break down what those two fancy terms actually mean.
First up, non-excludability. This one's pretty simple. It means you literally can't stop someone from using the good, even if they don't pay for it. I mean, think about it. Once the city turns the streetlights on, can they really stop you from using that light as you walk down the sidewalk? No way. Same goes for national defense. You can't just protect every house on the block except for the one that didn't pay taxes. This is what leads to that famous free rider problem.
All right, so that's test number one. The second part of the test is this idea of non-rivalry. This just means that me using the good doesn't stop you from using it or use any of it up. My enjoying the light from a streetlight doesn't make it any dimmer for you. The army protecting my house doesn't make it any less effective at protecting yours. We can both consume it at the exact same time without a problem.
Okay, so take a look at this. This is the classic grid you'll see in pretty much any economics textbook. You've got 4 boxes based on those two ideas we just talked about. Down here, you have private goods, like a slice of pizza, totally excludable and rival. But way up in the opposite corner, you have public goods. That's the little box, the exclusive club that is both non-rival and non-excludable. That's what education has to get into.
Okay, the stage is set. We have our strict two-part definition. Now for the moment of truth. Let's hold education up against these two criteria and see if it has what it takes. And right away, you can see it's a total mismatch. First, is education non-excludable? Can you stop someone from getting it? Of course. Schools do it all the time with tuition fees, or you have to get certain grades to get in. So it's definitely excludable. Okay, what about non-rivalry? Is there an unlimited supply of spots in a classroom? Absolutely not. If one student takes a seat, that seat is gone. Another student can't use it. It is very much rival. So yeah, education fails on both counts. Big time.
So there you have it. The verdict is in and it's crystal clear. Based on the strict economic definition, education is absolutely not a public good. Technically speaking, because it's both rival and excludable, it actually fits perfectly into the box for a private good. Wild, right?
Okay, let's lock this in. Here's a question straight from an old exam paper. Which one of the following is a distinctive feature of a pure public good? Take a second and think about what we just covered. What's the one thing that truly sets it apart?
And the answer is D. It all comes back to that core idea of non-excludability. You just can't stop people from using it. That's the special sauce that creates the whole free rider issue and makes public goods a unique problem for markets to solve.
All right, so we've totally busted the myth. Education isn't a public good, which, of course, leads to the next big question. If we've been using the wrong label this whole time, what's the right one? What do economists actually call it?
And the answer, the correct economic label, is a merit good. Now, this is a really interesting idea. A merit good is something that's really, really good for you, but for whatever reason, if we left it entirely up to the free market, people just wouldn't buy enough of it.
But that just makes you wonder, right? If education is so great, so desirable, with all these amazing benefits, why on earth would we underconsume it? Why wouldn't people just naturally get the right amount?
Well, it boils down to two classic market failures. The first one is a concept called positive externalities, and the second is something known as information failure. Let's quickly unpack both.
Think of positive externalities as bonus side effects for society. When you get an education, you get the private perks, right? A better job, more money. But the rest of us, society, we get a huge bonus prize, a more skilled workforce, higher productivity, and a faster growing economy. The problem is, when you're 18 and deciding whether to take on student debt, you're probably not thinking about how your degree will boost the national GDP. You're just focused on your own costs and benefits.
And the other part of the equation is information failure.
Honestly, it's just really tough, especially when you're young, to truly grasp the massive, long-term payoff of a good education. You might not fully appreciate just how much it can increase your future salary or even improve your health outcomes decades down the line. We don't have a crystal ball, so we tend to underinvest in our future selves.
Okay, so this brings us right back to where we started. If education is technically a private good that just happens to be underconsumed, why on earth do so many governments provide it for free, treating it as if it were a public good? This is the root of all the confusion.
And this quote from the original essay just hits the nail on the head. Making education free isn't because of some inherent quality of education itself. It is a deliberate policy choice, a tool governments use to step in and fix that underconsumption problem we just talked about.
This is so important. Making education free is what's called a normative decision. It's not a factual statement about what education is. It's a statement based on our values, on what we as a society think should be. It's a choice that says, we value equity and social equality, so we are going to make sure everyone has access, no matter how much money they have. This table lays it all out perfectly. Look at the difference. A public good has to be provided by the government because its very nature, that free rider problem, means a private market just won't work. But a merit good could be provided by the market. We just choose to provide it publicly, as a policy, to make things fair and get those awesome societal benefits.
All right, let's boil it all down. What are the big takeaways here? Number 1, education is technically a private good. It's rival and it's excludable. Number 2, its proper economic name is a merit good because we don't consume enough of it on our own. And number 3, and this is the big one, making education free is a policy choice to promote fairness, not a law of nature.
And that leaves us with a huge, thorny, real-world question. Choosing to treat education like a public good is incredibly expensive. Every dollar or pound or euro spent on free tuition is money that can't be spent on hospitals, roads, or clean energy. So knowing the real economic distinction, how should we, as a society, strike that difficult balance?